Welcome everybody to my new studio. I wanted to share with you some video of the studio that my husband and I have been working on for the last several months. We finally finished it. We just put the finishing touches on it just the other day, and let's take a look. I wanted my studio to be a warm, inviting haven away from my home, and it is on our property, but it's detached from our home, which I really love. As you can see, we went with a lot of wood just to bring in a very warm, kind of like a cozy cabin type feel. And I'm a country girl at heart, and so this is the kind of look we were going for. The design, we designed where the windows would go, the lighting, just everything about it we designed. We had the shell built. It's a 16 by 20 shell with a metal roof and an insulated metal underfloor. And my husband has just been really a hard worker on this project. He installed all of the tongue and groove siding that you see. He installed all of the lighting. He and I installed the flooring. He built the storage loft for me, and he's just been a wonderful support and encouragement and help on this project. This is the northern wall. It's got a lot of northern light coming in, even though it's a very overcast day. Um, and here's my little workstation where I do some planning for my paintings, do a little bit of blogging from there too. And it's just a nice place to come out, and that's separate from the house, where I can just sit and relax, think about what I want to do with my creative vision, the projects that are coming up. There's a little dehumidifier that we might be needing in the summertime because it does get rather humid where we live. My couple of little bears that I've had that little figurine since we lived in Missouri in a log home. We don't live in a log home anymore, but that's one of the remnants from when we did. I love these double French doors. My little welcome sign, I got that. That was the first little thing I bought when I finally learned we were going to be building this studio. I wanted something to sort of announce, I guess, the style I was going for, something just kind of welcoming. So I found that sign and thought, that's perfect. This is the corner where I'll have my easel, where I have my easel and all of my pastels. That table I got from Home Depot. It was on sale for about $100. This is just a inexpensive easel that I've purchased from Hobby Lobby. I've been using for many years now. I like that I can sit to paint or I can stand to paint with that easel. It's wonderful. These are some homemade boxes that I created using the backside of wooden painting panels, and then just some I think it's birch craft wood that I lined with foam. And I have all of my pastels separated into, well, those are all my hard pastels there. And the first box I showed you was some of my Terry Ludwig's. And then the other two boxes are a mixture of unisons, a few schminkas, lots of Richardson hand rolls, just different pastels broken down into family groups and, I'm sorry, hue families and values, sorry. And then I just have a couple of extra sets over here that I like to keep these in sets, because if I really want to just work within a set, it's kind of nice to not have to choose out of my whole big palette. And so I've got my Richard McKinley set and my Karen Margulis set. And then I also keep some underpainting supplies here. That it's not all of them, but I do have some watercolor paints that I use. There's also my pastel pencils, some Inktense blocks, just a few of the things that I have there. I'll probably be storing a few more things there as well. But it's nice to have everything out on one table. Before, I was using everything stored in a piano bench. So that's a step up for me. I love this loft that my husband built. It's a wonderful storage loft, and it's wide enough that I can keep my foam core and my larger pieces of sanded paper flat. So that's really kind of nice. Um, this is the mini split heating and air conditioning system. It is super quiet, which I really love. Of course, it's winter now, and I'm excited to be able to use it in the summertime and keep things cool. My little inspiration nook there. Um, this room will also be used for the string band that I lead, that consists of a friend of mine, my daughter, and my husband and myself. My husband built that bookcase for me just out of the scrap wood we had left over from the project, and it houses our amps and has a lot of my art books in it. I love to see what's on people's shelves for art books. So these are my drawing and watercoloring type books, some journaling books, and these are my pastel books, some of my favorites. I finally have room for them all now. It's really great. There's my violin. This is a cabinet that was in our house that my husband refinished so that it would go with the look that we were going for, and it holds all of my extra art supplies, which is very handy. Got my different solvents and papers and just different things, different size frames, and just all the odds and ends that you need space for when you have a lot of artistic creating going on. I really love this art studio. It's very quiet, and like I said, it's just kind of a home away from home. And my husband was so thoughtful when he was working on this. He wanted me to have shelving and all the lighting that I needed. Probably, if this were just a living space, the lighting would be overkill. But for what I'm using it for, I wanted a lot of lighting. My eyes aren't great, and so I need a lot of extra lighting. And so we installed some pendant lighting as well as some track lighting. That track lighting you can see is pointed toward the loft, so that at night I can turn that on and see what's up there in the storage space. And some of the lighting is also on dimmers, which is nice. And then the ceiling fan light has more of a yellow light, but the other lights have daylight bulbs in them. So it's nice to have that mix of lighting going on. A few of my little paintings. The shelving my husband built, and I have it on two walls. There are three little shelves there. I love how it just flows. It's very simple and elegant. It doesn't detract from the paintings, but it's very functional. I love that I can put pieces which are in clear bags, but I can also put framed pieces on these shelves without fear of them falling off, and I don't have to drill holes in my wall to try to hang up different frames. And there's the profile, so you can see how he constructed it. He used, I believe that's a 1x3, and then there's a wooden base underneath that runs the length of the shelf, and they're attached together and screwed into the wall. You can see kind of the different ways he attached it. When I was looking to see what kind of shelves I wanted, there wasn't a whole lot of instruction to create something like this, so we just wanted it to be very simple and clean lines and something just that would go with the wood. So we thought, let's just create something that we like, that we know will work. So I kind of gave my husband some specs, and this is what he came up with. And it's kind of ingenious. He just used a piece of kind of corner wood molding, and it's got just enough of a lip on the shelf that it keeps everything from falling off. As you can see, the frames are quite safe up there. And I don't have to put holes in my wall, in my wood walls, which would be a shame to have to do. So I'm really enjoying that. And then the last thing I want to show you is a piece that I recently bought for myself to inspire me. It was from Bethany Fields. This is a pastel piece of hers. It's about 12 by 12. I matted it and framed it myself. This is a still shot of it, a little bit more detailed. And last but not least, this is one of the views that I see when I'm looking out my window. Thanks for visiting, and I hope you enjoyed this view of my studio.